There's days where I just feel like a weary traveler. Have you ever felt weary of heart? It happens for several reasons, but with me it happens when I lose sight of the promises of God. I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I have endured some things over my life that would just bring me to despair. Childhood experiences of rejection, mistakes in my past that I regret, and of course the devil working through it all with deception. I believed the lies that I was undeserving of love, but instead deserved punishment. Thankfully, God has taught me a way to navigate these feelings of losing heart and has also given me a new perspective. Now, we have examples from God's Word. Jesus is one example. For it says in Isaiah 53, 3 through 4, He is despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we did not esteem him. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. If anyone knows what we've been through, Jesus knows what we've been through. You can imagine the things he had to endure. So he knows very well what you're going through. Another example is David. Because he says in Psalms 23, verse 13, I would have lost heart unless I'd believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of living. That he had hope and belief in God that would carry him through and that he would see God's goodness. Another example is Joseph. Genesis 50, verse 20, it says, But as for you, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good in order to bring about it as this day to save many people alive. And if you remember with Joseph, he was thrown into pit, his brothers sold him into slavery, and then he was wrongly accused in Potiphar's house and he was thrown into prison. And so, and then when he finally met up with his brothers years later, separated from his family, alone and enduring all kinds of depression and abandonment and all that, he said, you meant it for evil against me, but God meant it for good. So here's the thing that just helped me the most. There's not a word for tragedy in God's word, for the Hebrew culture believed that if God hasn't redeemed your situation, he is not done with it yet. There is no impossible tragedy in my life for which God is not incapable of redeeming it. He is all-powerful, all-knowing, and he can and will redeem it somehow in your life. We may not see it, but he will. I will see the goodness of God in the land of the living, for God will always redeem it. He will turn every situation around for your good and for his glory. I think it says in Romans chapter 8, all things work for the good to those who love the Lord, to those who are called according to his purpose. So all things work for good. Why? So that you can testify to others of God's faithfulness, of his goodness, and of his care and compassion to redeem you in troubling situations that you may find yourself in. David says in the very next verse, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, in the Lord. Psalms 27, verse 14. Our hearts will always be strengthened when we just wait on the Lord's timing to redeem our situations. And don't get in a hurry. Just wait on the Lord. No, stop it. Just wait on the Lord. Now, don't fret, don't worry, and don't get mad because God is not done with you yet. As long as you have breath in your lungs, God is not finished, and he will always work in your life. Always, always, always. Just trust that God knows what he is doing and wait upon him to move in your life. Don't push, don't kick open that door. You let him move in your life. Let him, wait on him. Then you will see a witness to the love and faithfulness of God in your life, and you'll be a positive witness of the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Because it'll be, I didn't just read it in God's Word. I experienced it. I believed it for myself because God was faithful to me. And so that's the whole thing. So you walk in God's truth, believe in Him, stand on the promises if you have to, but wait on the Lord to redeem your situation, and ask Him to open up your eyes to see how He redeemed it, and the good that He brought into your life and the blessings He brought through the whole thing. Because I'm sure that when a tragedy comes through and God redeems it, God will always bring a blessing of somehow in your life, a closer walk with God, or more care and compassion to others. And some people started whole ministries because they lost a child, and they started whole ministries on helping other people that grieve. And God has a way of doing things, and just trust in Him for the journey. You have a great evening.